Hey guys, I want to ask you, do you guys believe Jurassic Park The Lost World is a horror movie? Comment down below what you guys think.
Movie footage used in the kill count is owned entirely. Movie footage used in the kill count is owned entirely by the copyright holders. Dead Meat makes no claim of ownership and simply uses the footage for purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support filmmakers and the art of filmmaking by watching The Lost World Jurassic Park in its entirety on home media or streaming services where available. Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror and horror-adjacent movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're still talking about dinosaurs with The Lost World Jurassic Park, released in 1997. A movie as big as Jurassic Park basically demanded a sequel for money purposes, so Spielberg and Universal promptly asked Michael Crichton to write another novel, from which they used pretty much nothing for the plot of this movie. Spielberg's Lost World takes memorable side character Ian Malcolm and makes him the main character, one of many things that made me obsessed with this movie as a kid. I also loved all the big action set pieces, the cool vehicles that made for cool
I want to ask you guys,
toys.
does this work? See, there's a stereotype in Hollywood that side characters should never be a main character, like Mater or Banter or any of that. So what about Ian Malcolm? Since he's not just a dumb joker like the rest of them, he's a smart, intelligent guy. Do you think he works being the main character of his own story, or does it not work? Comment down below in your opinions. I think it does work, personally.
And the phenomenal score by John Williams, which I still maintain rivals the originals. If I remove my nostalgia glasses, there is plenty to complain about here. Primarily, a couple of major plot holes and a whole lot of boring bloat in between all the fun stuff. But you know what? It's kinda cool to see a T-Rex go all King Kong and tear through a major city, as silly as it may be. According to Stan Winston, the motto while making this movie was more, bigger, better. And you know what? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Did that motto extend to the body count as well? Let's find out and get to the kills.
Yes, absolutely.
The movie begins 4 years after the original on Isla Sorna, nearish to the original movie's location, Isla Nublar. The very posh Bowman family is enjoying a...
Do you think, we're all after it, so it doesn't matter how long it was, but is 4 years good for a sequel? Should a sequel wait 4 years? Because now, everything's got to be 2 years so I can get a sequel, so... When I heard it was 4 or 5 years after the original, I was like, Jesus, that's a time jump. You know? It was almost half a decade.
A beach picnic with all their sailormen servants when daughter Kathy runs off to explore on her own. She discovers a cute little compsognathus, also known as a compy, but makes the mistake of giving it a taste of roast beef. The compy calls its friends over to the free meal, and they all swarm the little girl, no longer content with subpar lunch meat. Kathy's screams are heard by her beachside bougie family, who run to her location and end this cold open with a scream. But later on, Hammond mentions that Kathy survived, so patience, my friends. Our count hasn't begun just yet. Speaking of Hammond, we go to his mansion.
They made a joke.
Next, where he
meet and they make a joke about her dying, which she doesn't actually.
Summoned a somehow even sexier Ian Malcolm. Malcolm runs into the Murphy kids in a quick cameo by Joseph Masello and Ariana Richards, then encounters Hammond's slimy nephew Peter Ludlow, who's taking over Hammond's company InGen after the unfortunate Kathy Bowman incident. There's no love lost between these two, since apparently Ludlow sued Malcolm for breaking his NDA when he tried to tell the public about Jurassic Park. This is all revealed in one of a few long takes where people constantly talk over each other, making their dialogue really difficult to understand.
I recall your university revoked your tenure for your selling wild stories.
I didn't sell anything. I never took a cent, and I told the truth.
Upstairs, a sleepy Hammond tells Malcolm about Site B, a facility on Isla Sorna where they had made and bred the dinosaurs.
Hammond Wally's, machines, because after this movie, Hammond, well, not after it in 2014, but in lore
before moving them to the park on Nublar. A hurricane wiped out all of InGen's stuff right after the park incident, so after 4 years of no human involvement, Isla Sorna is now home to a veritable dino society.
Life will find a way, as you once so eloquently put it.
But Hammond's nephew Ludlow wants to use the Site B dinosaurs to make some dino dollars, so Hammond is sending a small team to Sorna to document the dinosaurs and build up public support against his nephew's plan. Malcolm is face in hands worried about this, even more so when he finds out that the paleontologist pegged for the mission is Malcolm's girlfriend, Sarah Harding. And wouldn't you know it, Sarah's already gone to the island ahead of time, the sparky little go-getter. And that, kids, is how Hammond got Ian Malcolm on his Sorna squad. Good con, Hammond, you wily wily old coot. Malcolm goes to a garage and joins the other two members of the team. There's head engineer Eddie Carr, played by Richard Schiff, and field photographer slash part-time activist Nick Van Owen, played by a 27-year-old Vince Vaughn. Maybe they just hired him because they wanted an actor who they could easily frame with Jeff Goldblum, since these dudes are 6'4" and 6'5", the damn sequoias. Seeing Malcolm off is his daughter Kelly, who's pissed that he's leaving her all of a sudden when he was supposed to be spending time with her.
You like to have kids, but you just don't want to be with them, do you?
He also apparently doesn't like to closely monitor them, since Kelly manages to sneak into the island-bound RV and smuggle away in there without anyone ever noticing. The first of a few story points that simply don't hold up to scrutiny. The team takes a boat to the island, and then they're there, driving around in a kick-ass RV and these Mercedes SUVs, not Jeeps. They use Eddie's fancy pants GPS to track down Sarah Harding, the ever-radiant Julianne Moore, who's real excited to have learned that Stegosaurus is traveling family units and all other kinds of dinosaur fun facts. She's got a great career at Snapple ahead of her. The baby Stego is ready for its close-up, so Sarah gets all up in his face for a headshot. But her camera starts screaming when it runs out of film. See, film is something you used to have to load into cameras to take pictures on. It existed in finite rolls that would eventually run out and limit your photo-taking capabilities. It's crazy, I know. The noise upsets the bigger
You guys actually use cameras? Honestly, I don't know how you made out.
who starts swinging at Sarah with their tails, which are the
You didn't just use one of these? I'm surprised you guys make it out.
dinosaur equivalent of a baseball bat with nails in it. But then they just leave.
They're leaving. I think they're leaving.
Maybe work on the endings to these dino sequences, Lost World. Everyone gets back to the RV and finds that Kelly is stowed away in it, apparently camping in that nasty little sleeping corner back there. As they clean up Kelly's sty, Harding tells Malcolm thanks but no thanks for the ride home. He and Kelly should get out of there, but she wants to stay and study dinosaurs in action instead of digging around in the dirt.
I love you. I just don't... need you right now.
A whole bunch of helicopters start flying in like...
No. I'm just gonna give my opinion here. You don't have to listen to me. They were created in a lab. I'm not saying anything, okay? I'm not saying anything. They were created using frog DNA, and they look nothing like fucking dinosaurs. So, maybe, if you actually used your paleontology, if you actually were a paleontologist, and actually were using the real facts, and not pretending this bullshit that John Hammond's trying to tell you, you would find out real dinosaurs. You know, John Hammond gave these things life, and yeah, maybe they deserve it, but like real dinosaurs? No. Like, I wish... And then the Jurassic Park, they say with the Dilophosaurs actually have drills. So, either two-face. They're lying to pretend John was right, or John was fucking right. And if that's true, the whole playing God thing, well, John was right. So, is John actually God? Wait, is John God? The whole thing Rexy's God? Well, maybe John's God. Since he didn't play God, he did God. You know what I mean?
But they're not evacs for Malcolm and Kelly. They're Ludlow's InGen crew. And they land a whole bunch of Jeeps, right? And motorcycles in a really cool dino capture sequence that still gets me as pumped now as it did when I was 8 years old. It's got so many awesome moments, like when this motorcycler guy drives his bike between a Mamentosaurus's legs, or when a bunch of dudes try to wrangle a Pachycephalosaurus who has 9 inches of solid bone on its dome that it uses to knock a guy straight through a Jeep. God. Yeah. The Pachycephalosaurus is eventually taken down by a truck with fun little sidecars and a big tuning fork on the front that, like, I don't know would be super efficient in real life, but did make for a badass toy I made my parents buy me. Witness to all this dino napping is Malcolm's team from their cliffside view, and they all look very, very concerned about the dino rights being violated. Peter Ludlow's InGen team is Witness to all this dino napping is Malcolm's team from their cliffside.
Is he grabbing her butt? First John grabbing his butt, and first Alan Grant grabbing Ellie's butt, and now us.
View, and they all look
obsessed with big butts, and I can't lie.
Very, very concerned about the dino rights being violated. Peter Ludlow's InGen team is led by big game hunter Roland Tembo, played by the late Pete.
I'm gonna sound controversial here, but I kind of agree with what they said. They're created in a lab, but they shouldn't have rights. As I've said, I've personally always agreed with Jurassic first villains more than the heroes.
And he's there for one reason only, to hunt and capture a male T-Rex. The team's science advisor is Dr. Robert Burke, whose appearance is based on real-life paleontologist Robert T. Backer, who was name-dropped in the first Jurassic Park movie by Tim.
There's this other book by a guy named Backer, and his book was a lot fatter than yours. It was like this.
Burke tells Dieter Stark, Roland's second-in-command,
in my opinion, this is one of the coolest scenes.
This.
Brooke tells Dieter Stark, Roland's second-in-command played by Peter Stormare, that dinosaurs like this copy aren't going to show fear towards humans since it doesn't really have any reason to fear man. In response, Stark shows us how much of a dick he is.
No, it does.
Oh, you gonna get it later, boy. Tembo tracks down the Rex nest where he finds a little baby T. Tembo's assisted by this dude Ajay Sidhu, who I think is just being played by an English actor, Harvey Jason, in brownface. So, that's kind of a weird choice, movie. They steal the baby Rex in an effort to lure its parents into a trap, but Mama and Papa Rex always forget to check their Facebook event invite, so they never show up. Malcolm's team spies on the
If you are wondering, the reason is this worker, I don't want to sound mean, but I'm gonna say his race, so trigger warning. This African American worker gets drunk and then trips over the Rex, breaking its leg.
And Nick admits that he's not only a photographer, but also a saboteur sent by Hammond to mess up Ludlow's plan. That plan is to bring the dinosaurs to a zoo in San Diego so they can make money, which must be very exciting for the InGen board of directors Ludlow's having a staticky Skype call with. But after Nick and Sarah sneak into Ludlow's camp and free all the dinosaurs, the dinos destroy this tent of capitalism like a bunch of Bolshevikosauruses. Property gets ruined and there are a bunch of great action shots of dinosaurs, but ultimately nobody is killed, even after a Jeep comically explodes and somehow flies high enough to almost hit Tembo and Ajay in their little poacher's treehouse. With the baby Rex no longer being monitored, Nick de-stakes it so he and Sarah can take it back to the RV and mend its broken leg. Not a great surprise for Malcolm, who must be having all sorts of flashbacks to outhouses right now. The baby is loud as fuck, cause, it's a baby, and although Nick muzzles it with a belt, Kelly still worries about other animals being drawn to the noise, so Malcolm takes her to Eddie in the High Hide, a fun forest dumbwaiter that takes the three of them up above the tree line and in front of a giant green screen. They hear a scary T-Rex roar coming their way, and although
I'm gonna say it, if I was on the island, just me, and the baby T-Rex started roaring and I had it, I'm doing two things. I'm leaving it so it could be killed by other dinosaurs or be found, or I'm beating it to death. Controversial, but I want to survive.
they've got a phone to the RV, Sarah and Nick are too busy with the baby, so they miss the long-distance call from Kashyyyk. Malcolm leaves the safety of the high to go warn them, probably giving himself wicked rope burn in the process. He gets back just in time for them to hear a big crash and see one of their SUVs go tumbling off the cliff. Next thing you know, they've got a Rex
He's very angry.
outside their window. Oh, scratch that. 2 Rexes outside their windows. More, bigger, better, baby. The humans try to placate the dinosaurs by giving them their baby back, but that's not good enough for these angry dino parents, because next thing you know, they're flipping the RV
Fuck these assholes. I've never liked Bucket.
over onto its side. Apparently, the Rexes figured that if they can't get into the giant tin can of food in front of them, might as well push it into the sea. Malcolm, Sarah, and Nick are stuck inside the trailer as
ever think there's something good happening out there? Yeah.
the unseen Rexes knock the first half over the edge of a cliff
There were such assholes in this movie.
that the filmmakers built on top of a parking structure at Universal. I actually used to park at that structure when I worked there a few years ago, so that's blowing my mind right now. Everyone clings to the sides of the vertical trailer, but Harding loses her grip and plummets down to the glass below. In a very tense moment, the glass begins to slowly break around her hands and body weight, and she's only saved at the last minute by Malcolm and her lucky pack right before a phone falls and breaks the glass out from underneath her. Damn, I still can't believe that was my parking structure. But look at this behind the scenes footage. That's so cool! Eddie races over in their remaining SUV to save the trio from their inverted jeopardy. And somehow in this life or death situation, Malcolm finds his sense of humor again.
Who's hurt? What do you need? 3 double cheeseburgers with everything. No onions on mine.
I don't know, we'll turn it.
3 cheeseburgers, all you someone hold the cheese!
Yeah, that seems like not a time he'd make a joke, but whatever. That doesn't stop Eddie Carr
What do you need?
from being a downright hero and saving them all single-handedly. First, he takes a rope tied to a tree trunk and throws it to them. Then, when the trailer begins to slide back in the mud, he grabs the tow cable from his SUV and hooks it up to the RV.
Electric could never done that.
Without some difficulty. The trailers are way past the load limit for his vehicle, though, and start
Electric tried to pull it out and died.
to pull it down with them over the cliff. Eddie Carr, master of his namesake, revs that SUV up and wrestles the RV back up over the edge, looking like a dog trying to pry a toy from its owner's hands. But before he can finish his rescue mission, the 2 T-Rexes return and surround his SUV. They repeat a few
Fuck them both.
beats from the original movie, including the dilating pupil and raising the roof like a motherfucker, before grabbing Eddie Carr and giving him a real King Solomon treatment by tossing him up and ripping him in half. I guess both these...
It's not even deserve it. Fuck these
All I
assholes.
want to say is, I'm in the middle of arresting my brother.
Wait, is this the first ever death? I thought this was death before. I'll see where.
Well, yeah, but maybe it's a fake death.
No, he dies. Seriously though. Seriously though. Fuck these two. Genuinely. I hate them both. Yeah, maybe there's some sympathetic. Fuck them both. Seriously though, I don't like them.
Dinosaurs cared about eating him equally. The RV falls down around Malcolm, Sarah, and Nick as they hang there precariously. Good thing nobody left any drawers open. The grand finale of this action set piece is a green screen explosion that tosses debris up towards our blurry foreground heroes as they hang from the rope. At the top of the cliff, they're helped over the edge by the InGen team.
Yeah, I kinda hate
You
that.
probably heard all that loud-ass Rex ruckus going on.
Sonny killed me. Sonny was sussy back who killed me.
Wait, one thing though?
Sonny is sus. Confirmed.
They're precariously. Good thing nobody left any drawers open. The grand finale of this action set piece is a green screen explosion that tosses debris up towards our blurry foreground heroes as they hang from the rope.
Sometimes people can't hear you. Maybe don't speak over what talking.
Yeah, it felt like a Michael Bay
just say
scene.
what you want to say with like an imagery explosion.
It feels like a Michael Bay scene.
You've lost all steam. Say it again.
Wait.
This is the worst scene in the movie. It feels like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
It's a green screen explosion that tosses debris up towards our blurry foreground heroes as they hang from the rope. At the top of the cliff, they're helped over the edge by the InGen team, who probably heard all that loud-ass Rex ruckus going on. Thanks to Nick and Sarah.
It just
Wait, say what your favorite scene was.
when the main villains and heroes have to work together to survive.
See, it's not hard to false.
It reminds me of Shell and GLaDOS or Joker and Batman. It's just cool to see a hero and a villain work together.
Seems like you just want the show to be over.
Here you go.
Sabotage and the RV's cliff dive, both groups are now stranded on the island, so despite the fact that everyone is at each other's throats, they agree to work together to get to a communication center in the middle of the island. They walk through the night and reiterate some character relationships. The activist and the hunter don't get along, Malcolm thinks Ludlow is a real stupid prick, etc., etc. In the morning...
Ludlow is actually John Hammond's nephew, which I didn't know.
But how didn't you know? But him calling John Hammond's dad, wait, all these theories, but his actual family member, nothing.
Well, actually, in this movie, they talk over each other a lot, so it's actually hard to hear anything they say.
You talking over fudge?
They take a breather, during which Tembo unwisely leaves his gun unattended, and Dieter Stark unwisely leaves the group to go for a very distant pee. Why you going so far, dude? You ain't got nothing they haven't seen before. Away from the others, Stark runs into another Compsognathus, who he immediately tries to electroprod again. His exercise in sociopathy makes him lose his way, and his...
What did he call it?
Yeah, what confident snarkers.
Did he just call it cum softness?
No,
So far, dude, you ain't got nothing they haven't seen before. Away from the others, Stark runs into another Compsognathus, who he
Compsockopus. It's a cumsock. A puss.
immediately tries to electroprod again. His exercise in sociopathy makes him lose his way, and his yells go unheard by the nearest InGen dude, this guy Carter, who's listening to music on his headphones. After Stark misses a step, he takes a tumble down a hill that...
You gotta go 4K quality, buddy.
I want candy.
No, that's not working. Okay, now it's working.
Okay, you should probably go now.
That leaves him vulnerable to a group pile by a bunch of copies who swarm all over him. One of them even bites at his lip in an image that straight up fascinated 8-year-old James. He gets them off of him and chases them away a bit, but the persistent little dinosaurs follow him through the barrows and tear into him once more, eventually chasing him behind a log where Stark's fate is sealed by a hearty death scream and the river running red. Should have known better. He's the sort of where dinosaur fascinated 8-year-old James. He gets them over him. One of them even bites that leaves him vulnerable to a group pile by a bunch of copies who swarm all over him. One of them even...
Do you say they turned him into a skeleton?
Oh, wow. No, that was some AI art. That's an AI meme of a raptor being eaten alive, and I said,
so happy it's back.
If I ever made a Jurassic Park movie.
Oh, it's just like summer in a bottle. A field full of flowers, the sun shining on me. This was the iconic scent.
I need a baby, I think she goes enough for.
No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. It adds on more to effect. Babies will eat old people, will eat dying people.
Introducing the Eco...
Well, I'm just
Jurassic Park character, would you like to see me a killer?
EcoFlow Home Energy Ecosystem. An open, smart, and customizable all-in-one...
Let's go out with everyone.
Others, Stark runs into another Compsognathus who he immediately tries to electroprod again. His exercise in sociopathy makes him lose his way, and his yells go unheard by the nearest InGen dude, this guy Carter, who's listening to music on his headphones. After Stark misses a step, he takes a tumble down a hill that leaves him vulnerable to a group pile by a bunch of copies who swarm all over him. One of them even bites at his lip in an image that straight up fascinated 8-year-old James. He gets them off of him and chases them away a bit, but the persistent little dinosaurs follow him through the barrows and tear into him once more, eventually chasing him behind a log where Stark's fate is sealed by a hearty death scream and the
Jurassic Park have been doing retcons to prove people didn't die, so you never know. You never know.
river running red. Should have known better. Isla Sorna is way too far south for a Stark to be roaming around. That night, the post-merge tribe makes camp and is sleeping peacefully when some puddles start a-rippling. And y'all know what that means, of course. Looks like Mama Rex has sniffed out Sarah's bloody vest and is ready to deliver another intense scene.
Why didn't you just remove why didn't you just remove it?
The T-Rex might have just joined in on some campfire songs and games, but for Carter, who wakes up and screams, scaring the Rex so much she can't even stand to show her face to the loud and boisterous campers. When Papa Rex comes to defend his lady's honor, Tembo tries to bag the buck, only to find that Nick is really excelling in his role as saboteur. Tembo gets another chance after Mama Rex runs off chasing all the other characters away, and this time he's struck with some luck and tranks the buck. While Tembo is dino darting, everyone else is somehow running away from the T-Rex that the first movie mentioned could run at 30 miles per hour. Oh well, speed doesn't matter when you're just trying to mud stomp, which is what the Rex does to Carter, crushing him against the ground and carrying him on her foot for a while like an embarrassing trail of toilet paper. Don't worry, Ms. Rex, nobody noticed, you're so cool. Nick, Sarah Kelly, and Dr. Robert Burke are chased by the T-Rex behind a waterfall, so you know that's probably not a good sign for Dr. Burke, the most expendable character of this bunch. Sure enough, the dude panics after he finds a snake in his vest, and he stumbles straight into the Rex's jaws, getting carried out and becoming...
It's so funny because the Lego game is like, what? Which, I get why snakes are extremely poisonous, but really?
Becoming a waterfall of blood, which delighted his real-life inspiration, Dr. Backer, who always argued that Rexes were predators. The T-Rex remembers some words of wisdom from TLC and returns...
Seriously, though, I wanted to say...
against the ground and carrying him on her foot for a while, like Kelly and Dr. Burke, the most straight inspiration, Dr. Backer, who always argued that Rexes were predators. The T-Rex remembers some words of wisdom from TLC and returns to the rivers and the lakes that it's used to, leaving Malcolm to make a dramatic reunion with the rest of our pro tags. How close were you tailing that dinosaur, Ian? The InGen Red Shirts, meanwhile, are continuing their escape through a bunch of long grass that Ajay warns them against entering.
Don't go into the long grass! Not into the long grass!
That's because there's a metro are continuing their escape through a bunch of long grass that Ajay warns them against entering.
Don't go to the long grass! Go into the long grass! Not into the long grass! To the long grass!
That's because there's a metric fuck ton of velociraptors hanging out in there, and in a very memorable sequence, they snake through the Veil d'Ur to destroy all humans. During this attack, we see 6 dudes tripped out.
Like is that in the Lego games you help them, which is really cool because in my opinion, it proves that these guys weren't evil. In my opinion, I don't think they're evil. Just in my opinion, I don't really think they're evil.
On into the grass, and since we
just people taking orders, really I don't see what's evil about them. I know you fight them and they fight you, but you know, you were technically going on private property, so you were in the wrong, even though it's for a good cause.
Later get confirmation from Tembo that Ajay also perished. I'll count him on the list as well, since he's an established character. I can't say for certain that anyone else died, and since I tend not to use conjecture on my counts, we're just gonna add 7 to the list here. Malcolm and the others also have to go through the long grass, but luckily they have plot armor, so they make it through without incident. After they slide down a hill though, Malcolm hurts his leg again.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, so Nick runs ahead to the communication center to call for a rescue. At the abandoned village, Nick finds a nostalgic mural on the wall and then all the power stuff, so he's able to turn that shit on and use the radio to call for help. Damn, he killed that side mission. Malcolm, Sarah, and Kelly finally make it to the lit up village, but as they're calling out for Nick, a velociraptor attacks Sarah and would have ripped her apart if not for her lucky pack. 2 more raptors show up, cause it takes more than 2 to tango, or something like that. Lots of fun
More than 2, you know?
action here, with both Raptor and Malcolm taking many a spill through glass windows, while the two Raptors after Sarah and Kelly dig a tunnel. There's a great moment when one of them crashes through the floorboards as Kelly tries to crawl out. Malcolm joins the ladies in their little Raptor shack, and that's when we get one of the most ridiculous moments of the series. Kelly, who earlier had mentioned she was cut from her school's gymnastic team, uses some extremely conveniently located bars to friggin' gymnast kick the Raptor, knocking it through a window and onto a spike that impales it through the belly.
The school cut you from the team?
Sarah is separated.
You know what? Controversial opinion, but I actually think it's one of the best scenes in the Jurassic verse, because it proved to me, it gave my faith in humanity. But the humans could fight back, and the humans weren't bitches to the dinosaurs. We are humans, and we would evolve to fight predators. I know this is going to sound a bit sad, but the Jurassic verse genuinely made me feel sad that humans were just weak garbage that could die instantly. So to have this scene by a literal child proved to me that we are humans. We evolve, we hunt, we kill, we win. We are the winners of history. We're the only species that can say we won wars, we made wars, except Timus. But to be honest, I think if that war ever got part 2, like a sequel, humanity I think would win. Besides that, humans have always won. And honestly, I even think 100 Men could kill a gorilla. Because Goshi-san made a video on it, but they made the gorilla punch and act too unlike a gorilla. So to me, humanity will always beat any animal because we're humans and they're animals. They may be physically stronger, but they don't have the brains.
Kelly and her proud pops and winds up hanging off the roof in the middle of a Velociraptor sandwich. But Sarah, always the frugal shopper, gets a 2-for-1 deal when she knocks the roof raptor off and straight into the other one, starting a violent sibling rivalry that gives her the chance to escape in a very end of theme park ride manner. Seriously, watch this. She tumbles through a few platforms right out to where Malcolm and Kelly are waiting for her to get onto the rescue choppers with Nick. Mission accomplished, riders. They fly out of the village, and from the safety of the choppers, Nick admires his act of sabotage that got at least 2 people killed, since Tembo couldn't temper that Rex attack. But as they fly away, they see down below that Tembo did manage to get the Rex in the end. Super
controversial opinion? Fuck that guy. Genuinely, fuck him. 2 people had to lose their life. For what? 1 T-Rex's life? Really, 2 humans for 1 T-Rex. I don't care about the moral greatness here. They suffered, and one of the main characters, the hunter, lost his best and only friend. He surrounded himself by death his whole life, and then finally lost his friend and had nothing anymore. He lost everything, because you want to be a little hero. Well, he caused the guy to basically lose everything. Because he couldn't kill a T-Rex, he lost his friend, he suffered so much, and has PTSD, so yeah, fucking feel proud of yourself. Like, oh, a T-Rex, one of the most evilest fins, one of the most bloodthirsty fins, a literal tyrant, people call him, survived. Well, I hope you feel proud that you let the tyrant live, because we all know she deserved to live, so thank God you let the tyrant live. Fuck you. Genuinely, fuck you, you piece of shit. Genuinely. The villains are way more justifiable, and I'm gonna say it. Fuck you, you piece of fucking shit.
super excited about it, saying the Buck and baby Rexes will save InGen. But Tembo is all frowny-faced over Ajay's death, and so he bids farewell to Lovelow and the movie, denying us any more great Postlethwaite acting. Rest in peace, Pete. Now it's time for that infamous San Diego sequence, which begins with less than a half hour of runtime left. So maybe they should have called this Jurassic Park 2, Rexy Takes San Diego. Lovelow's having a big dinosaur
Rexy.
A press announcement that Malcolm and Sarah gate crash when the greedy businessman gets word that something's wrong with the approaching dino delivery ship. Looks like it's heading towards the dock too quickly and won't respond to any radio messages. Instead, the ship makes a grand entrance by crashing straight into the frickin' dock and destroying everything in its path. Damn, man, that's gonna cause some structural damage. I see some injured people on the dock, but no conclusive kills. Those don't come until Ludlow and the security guards board the ship and head to the cabin.
Where's the crew? All over the place.
Yeah, he says all over the place, but I can only count what I see. So here's one definite casualty when Ludlow finds a severed hand at the helm of the ship, and a second that Malcolm finds clutching the button that controls the cargo hold doors. Hey, question, how'd these people die? Because the only dinosaur on the ship is a giant T-Rex who's trapped in the cargo hold. They brought the infant back on the plane.
We brought the infant back on the plane?
See? Just one big-ass dinosaur trapped below deck. And yet here we have a body in the tiny cabin of the ship and another one out on the deck. It's a huge plot hole that has forever bugged the crap.
There is a theory being raptors, but I don't personally buy it.
In the tiny cabin of the ship and another...
Like, well, that's why I love the Lego joke. Because you kill all the crew, which makes me wonder, did someone just go psycho and kill all of them? That's my only theory.
One out on the deck. It's a huge plot hole that has forever bugged the crap out of me. When some dumbass picks up the cargo hold controls and opens it, the T-Rex finally breaks free.
I'm not gonna say because I had this friend in the Lego game. But you are a dumb piece of shit that deserves to die.
And now we've got a dinosaur on the mainland, a plot point that I'm sure the series would never feel the need to go back to. After a cool shot of the T-Rex roaring into the San Diego night sky, the dinosaur goes on some wacky suburban adventures, first finding a big swimming pool to drink from, and then eating up a poor little puppy. Oh, that Rex. Malcolm and Sarah drive to Jurassic Park San Diego, which is still under construction, but I bet is getting built faster than friggin' Star Wars land. This is where the priceless baby T-Rex is hanging out, apparently by itself and unmonitored, so they Rex-snap the kid and set off to find its papa. That won't be hard, since Daddy Rex is wreaking absolute havoc on Burbank, which is standing in for San Diego here. In one memorable moment, the Rex rams his face into a bus, causing a bunch of serious injuries, I'm sure, but no confirmed deaths, even after the bus runs into the walls of a Blockbuster. See, Blockbuster was a place you could go and rent movies from, and then, get this, you'd return them to the store after a few days. It's crazy, I know. In fact, the only confirmed casualty in the streets of San Diego is this unlucky bastard, played by David Koepp, the screenwriter of this movie and co-writer of the original Jurassic Park alongside Michael Crichton. Malcolm and Harding pull into a gas station right next to the Bull Rex, who says they've got a lot of balls trying that shit. It roars at them and chases them away from the $1.09 a gallon gas. Oh, 90s. More dino hype.
I agree with what people said, though. It's such a bootleg Godzilla move to have a dinosaur run on the mainland. It just didn't feel like Jurassic Park.
Hijinks happen when a Blues Brothers-sized squadron of police cars nearly run into the Rex, only for him to give a single roar at their sirens that sends them comically driving backwards to get away from it. I do like that they brought animal control, though. Good gag. The Rex chases Malcolm and...
You have guns. You have guns.
And Sarah through a warehouse.
Your job is to serve and protect the weak. And the moment it's a bit stronger, all those years of training, you just fuck off. It's like that song about a girl saying she's too scared to fight a spider, and they says, you know, all your years of feminism and you're just going to give it up because of spider, you know, all your years of saying, oh, I'll always protect the innocent, I'll always be pure. Then one T-Rex comes and you're shitting bricks and leaving. Yeah, I don't have a gun. I'd be scared shitless. But you are a cop. You are required. You are required to be more than a man. Be a warrior. Be a hero. And then you fuck off? That you are a pussy. You are a coward. You are weak. Your job, your pure existence is to protect others. And when you don't follow that, well, you're just a fucker. You're just a fucking pussy, and you don't deserve to wear that badge, in my opinion. I am only talking about JP cops, not real life cops. No, I'm just saying, you know, just in case any cops watching. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Double, double, wink, wink. Seriously, you're fucking cowards.
Straight back onto the dock, where Peter Ludlow sees them and chases after them, screaming, "What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening." But Malcolm and Sarah would rather jump off a ship than talk to Ludlow, so they do, leaving Hammond's evil nephew to a solitary sweet life on deck. He goes into the cargo hold, where Malcolm and Sarah left the baby Rex, because Ludlow's still trying to do business and shit. But that's when Big Daddy Rex finally finds his boarding pass and comes downstairs to get Ludlow away from his child. Papa Rex sets up the kill, but knows that kids learn best by doing, so the ultimate kill of Peter Ludlow goes to the baby T-Rex. Its very first, as far as we know. Ha, enjoy it, little guy. You never forget your first. Now that he's all fed and rested, the Rex is thinking about rallying and heading out onto town again. But Harding nixes that idea by shooting him in the neck with another tranquilizer dart, putting him down for a
It's almost like shooting the T-Rexes would have been a good idea. Who would have known shooting the T-Rexes would have been a good idea by the start? No, you can't shoot the T-Rexes. That's mean. Well, maybe, if it works so good, you should shoot the fucking T-Rex!
Right as the doors close over him, the movie ends with a news report showing the Rex being returned to Isla Sorna as John Hammond proselytizes for dino
Why? Just fucking burn the fucker alive. It doesn't deserve a happy ending, no.
autonomy on the island without any human involvement. And of course, one more shot of the dinosaurs hanging out on the island together, this time with some non-dinosaur pteranodons flying around too. How are you about to contain those sons of bitches, Hammond? They got wings! But they ain't gonna be killing people just yet, and right now we've got to deal with the mess that the Raptors and Rexes left us. So let's see what the damage is and get to the numbers. By my count, 15 people died in the Lost World Jurassic Park. Again,
Oh, man, no. Yeah.
them dudes. Dinos just have a taste for Y chromosomes, I guess. With a runtime
I guess dinos love of putting dicks in their mouths.
of 129 minutes, we had a kill on average every 8.6 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Eddie Carr, obviously. Dude got split apart by a couple of kissing dinosaurs. How the hell is anything gonna compare to that? Dull machete for lamest kill will go to the 2 confirmed kills on the T-Rex transport ship, since seriously, there's nothing you can say to make sense of them. They are a giant plot hole and it is bad. Finally, the diamond dino for coolest dinosaur sequence will go to the raptors in the grass. This scene is eerie and iconic, with some striking imagery of the raptors sneaking around in the grass and the guys all getting pulled down to their deaths. Plus that one dude gets straight pounced on. I fucking love it. And that's it. The Lost World Jurassic...
Well, since I did the last one, here's my golden chainsaw for coolest kills. Well, the raptor, lamest kill. Honestly, the raptor attack was probably lamest kill. Was probably the compies, because bro really didn't deserve it. And the kill... I'm sorry. When I rate these kills, should I rate my actual opinion on the characters? Like, I didn't want this guy to die, so I don't like Kodev, or should I rate them on how cool he works? I didn't want the guy to die, especially since they were working together. Yeah, that's just my opinion. And Raptor moment, well, even though I mocked it, I do like when the T-Rex went on the mainland. I just didn't think it deserved a happy end, you know?
Came out in 1997 and is the only non-Indiana Jones sequel that Spielberg's ever directed. He did not direct the next movie in the series, Jurassic Park 3, which I'll be covering next week. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. I want to thank a couple of patrons like Gambit and...
We have to talk. Now, after watching this entire video, do you guys believe that Jurassic Park The Lost World, is a horror movie, or do you not? It has more death and more gore, so does it make it more of a horror movie? I don't know. Personally, like Gloria, I would say yes. But that's just my opinion here. Well, comments down below, guys.
Heather Briley. I also want to shout out Coronation Street #1 fan due to a live stream agreement we had like a long time ago. Sorry it took me so long, dude. I've got major nostalgia glasses on for the Lost World Jurassic Park. Which movie on the kill count do you feel the same way towards? Like, you know it's not great, but you still love it anyway. Let me know in the comments. Alright everyone, be good people.
Revolut is 24/7 transaction.
Well guys, that was the end of this episode. The moral of this video is I don't hate JP. Okay, I don't hate Jurassic Park 3. I just personally have my problems with the sequel, and it's my least favorite out of the trilogy.